When you hear the word quarantine, you know what that means in May of 2020 during the novel coronavirus pandemic. But in January of 2018, when I was put in quarantine, I wasn't sure what that was going to be like, and I'm going to tell you about that today. Welcome to Master of CheMOMstry, where motherhood and science collide. My name is Joy, and I'm a mom and a teacher, and I love sharing my experiences with others in hopes that they can take something with them from my experiences on their own journey. In today's videos, what meningitis quarantine is like, I'm going to tell you about my experiences, what my thoughts are after going through it, and just to give you a heads up about what it's like to be quarantined in a hospital with a communicable disease. This video is part of my final pregnancy journey video series where I discuss what happened during my last pregnancy, which was full of complications and problems. And before I get started, I want to remind you to like this video as well as to subscribe to my channel. When I was diagnosed with meningitis while being pregnant in my early second trimester of the pregnancy, it was known that I had viral meningitis, but unknown if it was also bacterial meningitis because it took a few days for the lab to be able to get those results. So because bacterial meningitis is very dangerous and contagious, I was put into quarantine for 5 days. So let's go ahead and get started in me telling you what meningitis quarantine is like. Number one, it is sad. I couldn't see my kids for 5 days. I couldn't be at home doing my normal routine. I couldn't teach and do my job, and I couldn't be part of the normal extracurricular adult activities that I do, which mainly involved church ministries. Number two, it's socially isolating. Everyone who came into my room had to have a gown on, gloves, a mask, and shoe covers because of me. It is a weird situation to be that person. It kind of felt like a problem. The staff did not treat me that way, but it is a strange situation to be in when you're the person that people are trying to avoid. Number three, it is physically isolating. I had the four walls and a window, the TV, the bathroom. My husband was there, thankfully. My parents came and visited a few times. The nurses, the patient care techs, the phlebotomists, the on-call doctors, they rotated in and out. I couldn't go anywhere, and I was stuck in that one small room. Number four, it is boring. You can only watch so much HGTV. Although my husband and I finally got introduced to Chip and Joanna Gaines, and we decided that we liked them. Also, I about had to pull my hair out when it came to watching movies on cable because the commercials were longer than the actual movie footage. Number five, it is mind numbing. My husband and my boss, rightfully so, told me that I should not be doing any work for my job. I am so used to being on, working, creating, planning, assessing. And when I couldn't do it, it felt wrong. Do you ever wonder if you're going crazy sometimes when you're trying to juggle parenthood, your job, your extracurricular activities of yourself, your children's, your community activities? But then when you don't have them, you realize how much you actually crave the structure and the schedule that they create? That's how it felt when I was in quarantine. Number six, it is exhausting. First of all, there's a lot of noises coming from behind that door. Lots of other patients making noises, hospital staff talking, doing their thing. There's nothing wrong with that. They were supposed to be doing those things, but it was noisy. The next thing is there's lots of interruptions if I was going to fall asleep. Usually it didn't last long. Blood draws were early in the morning, followed shortly by food service bringing breakfast. There were multiple doctors that would see me throughout the day. Nurses and patient care technicians would come in for vital signs and IV checks. And maybe, just maybe, I'd get the okay to have a shower, but then we'd have to cover up all the IVs before I could go into the shower. That was a big process. But that first shower did sure feel good. Then it's lunch again. Maybe you get started with a nap, but get interrupted again, and so on it goes. Number seven, it is time altering. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what time it was. I didn't know what my purpose was anymore. I was getting a little stir crazy by day three. Number eight, it is uncomfortable. I really missed my bed and my blankets. Number nine, it is life-saving. If I had been contagious, being in a room by myself, separated from the rest of the patients, and having safety considerations and procedures in place for any of the hospital staff that was to see me, was going to be protecting all of those people, including my friends and my family. Turns out they never were able to grow any bacteria from my cerebrospinal fluid sample. So I was confirmed with having viral meningitis, but never confirmed having bacterial meningitis. Number 10, it is life-altering. Not as much for me, but actually more for those who rely on me. My husband was afraid because he thought he might lose his wife. My kids couldn't see me for 5 days and they really didn't understand why. My parents were extremely concerned for me while also trying to provide for my children's physical, social, and emotional needs during that time. My siblings and relatives and friends really didn't know what they could do for me because they couldn't come see me, but they supported me through prayer, through phone calls, and cards. My students didn't have me as a teacher for a week and didn't really get details about what was happening until later on. So as a student, anytime you have your normal routine broken up, that is impactful. Overall, it was an experience that taught me to be grateful for normal everyday life. And if this would happen to me again for a different disease or for a friend or family member who is hospitalized and quarantined for something, that at least I have a better understanding of what they're going through. Have you experienced a quarantine because of a contagious disease? What was it like for you? Please share in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like it as well as to subscribe to my channel, Master of CheMOMstry. Our experiences can teach us so much and I love sharing them with you. Thanks for watching.